Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park 21 playthrough with the Chicago Cubs. So we have finished spring training. We're at opening day of the 2023 season. This is going to be my last run with this playthrough. I've kind of decided that, I didn't win the World Series yet. We might make it all the way this year. We'll just have to see, but I think I've done what I really wanted to do with this team, which was just rebuild it into a competitor, get rid of some of those overpriced free agents, and move on to kind of my own team. And I think I've done that. We still have some big free agents on this team, or some big contracts on this team, but I still think we really got better players for the money at this point. And we're coming off a year where we won the National League Central, made it all the way to Game 7 of the National League Championship Series, lost to the Dodgers. So it was a great season last year. That was a good run. This game can be tough unless you just kind of game the AI a little bit, or if you just, take on a big budget team and put all your money into the big name free agents that are available every year and stuff like that. I mean, you can build a dynasty that way, but if you just play conservative like I do, where you kind of stay within your budget, you work on a mix of prospects and young players with veterans all the time, which is kind of like the mix I like to have on the teams. It's hard to build a dynasty. So making the playoffs is really a good, in my opinion, a good achievement in this game. But anyway, what I was going to do this episode is start simming out some games, hopefully get through a month or more of the season, see how we're going to start. Probably get through the season in 3 episodes is usually how my playthroughs run. But I'll start it off by taking a look at the spring, how we did, and then preseason predictions, just to recap from last episode. Spring record was 13-15. And I'm pleased with that. As I mentioned last episode, we lost the first 5, and I could check, I know, with the schedule, but it could have been the first 6 games of the season, and then wound up playing a lot better as the spring went on. So that doesn't scare me too much. Preseason predictions, we are predicted to win the division, just not with a good record or as good a record as we had last year. Last year we won 93 games, I believe, to win the division. But it's going to be competitive. Cincinnati's going to be, based on these predictions, one of our toughest teams to beat. And Milwaukee's even going to have a pretty decent year. Individually, we didn't have anybody showing up on the offensive top, like the top hitters in the predictions. But we did have Banda showing up in that top pitchers, and I'd like to see that, man. This guy, I just think it's one of the best moves I've made, if not the best move I think I've made with this playthrough. I just hope he continues. He's a great value starting pitcher, just incredible, really. I'm paying him. He's 3.8, just under 4.0 wins above replacement. Pretty good for a starting pitcher, and he's making $2.8 million this year. So that would be good to see him, maybe have an all-star year. I don't know if he's ever been an all-star. He hasn't, but that would be nice to see him make it to the all-star team. But just to take a look, too, at the final moves I made on that roster, the pitching staff is set as I thought it was going to be coming out of spring. We've got Syndergaard, Berrios, and then Banda, top 3. Then it's going to get iffy. I managed to pick up Sonny Gray as a free agent. He was still hanging out there late in the spring. He's still got some velocity. He's got good stamina. So who knows? In that 4th spot for a full year in the rotation, he might turn out to be pretty good. He's got 4 or 5. How many pitches is that? 6 pitches. 5 of them, are above average, so he could be pretty good. In the bullpen, I'm hoping, barring any injuries, we should be good there. On the lineup side, no surprises coming out of the spring on that end. I did, though, manage to trade away Ian Happ. I know he's a popular player. He's got great upside, great power. He just never performed for us. So I wound up trading for a prospect that I'm still, undecided about. But he was like number 6 prospect ranking in MLB. Great offensive potential. Going to hit for a high average and really give you some power, especially from equal, actually. It's, from left and right side of the plate. But his defense is a little suspect, so he's going to have to really be good, I think, offensively to overcome that poor defensive rating. But even so, just if you're new to the playthrough, I'll just tell you what it's been like with Happ. I mean, this guy's a 4-star player, 4.5 potential with OSA's ratings. He's a team leader. He's got great personality ratings. He basically helps your team chemistry, but he has just been so ineffective for me the last 2 seasons. Was injured a lot last year, and the power is potentially there, but 2021, his slugging percentage was below 400. So whatever's going on, maybe it's the way I put him in the lineup. There's so much, I guess, that could come into play here, but I'm really not regretting this trade. It's just sometimes, out of the park 21 is still a computer game. It's not like real life. Sometimes these guys perform in just wacky ways that you can't predict, and I think this is a case with him where that's going. I think that's the case here with him. I think he's a much better player than this, even based on the ratings, but it's just not coming through in the actual sims day to day. So it'll be interesting to see if Burleson has a good season. If he maintains that prospect rating, we get to the trading deadline and I'm competitive, but maybe not able to put some distance between me and the rest of the National League Central. He could be a guy I can trade for whatever piece I might need at that point. So that's another reason that I wanted to pick him up. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll sim pretty much a day at a time until we get through maybe a month or so of the season. It's into March, so it won't take too long to get through a month. So we open up at home against Milwaukee. They're based on those predictions, they're set to be one of our bigger competitors. We win the first game 6-3. Good offense from Caratini here. 2 home runs in the game. A couple hits from Segura, Hazley. Segura in his last contract, his ratings are not there overall, but I see this a lot with guys at about his age. If the ratings individually are still there, it might be something coded into the game. I don't know. You'd have to probably talk to the developers, but just like in real life, players make a push in their free agent year, but I'm seeing in this version, it seems like I see a lot of overperforming for guys when they're in their free agent year. So hopefully that'll happen with him this year. Pitching, and went to Syndergaard, 8 strong innings, just 3 runs, 7 Ks. Adams got the save. Man, Adams was perfect in the save. 1 inning, 3 strikeouts. Game 2 against Milwaukee, but I received a personal message. Let me see what that could be. It could be, it more than likely is my, player development. Let me just take a look at that before we move on. So we got Juan Ibarra, who at one time I thought was going to be a potential closer, and he's looked good for us. He was an international free agent. I just don't think he's got the dominance to do that anymore. I've mentioned this a lot, but my formula, I think, for relievers, if they've got 2 dominant pitchers, I think you probably want to leave them as setup. But it's in the way the league plays out, the way out of the park plays out, it's tough to even have a good performing reliever unless he's got 3 strong pitches, I guess is what I'm building up to. So I think maybe that could hold him back a little bit, but he's still signed 2 more years. So hopefully he'll be good enough to to be the setup guy we need anyway for the next 2 years. Cal Hendricks is struggling. I figured that, but he's in there because I just don't want to eat his $16 million team option yet. We got Hernandez, backup catcher, who good enough to start for a lot of clubs. He's got some ratings going on. Alec Burleson picked up some ratings a little bit. Looks like power may have gone up. Man, he's a 5-star right now. Potential for OSA. Some good movement here positively from lower down in my minors. I need to see that. One thing Kevin made, he is a minor league contract. Let me make sure. Yeah, he's one of my international free agents. So I'm hoping that he develops pretty good. I think I put I can't remember how much money I put into him, but hopefully it'll be okay. In terms of what our minor league system looks like right now, I mean, it's really not that bad after we got Burleson, but we've only got 2-3 guys here who are on the prospect list. So let's move back to baseball. Game 2, Milwaukee, extra innings, 5-4 win. Segura, another couple hits from him. Caratini, the same, 2 for 6. Barrios, 5 innings, 4 runs, but 9 Ks. Ibarra got the win in relief. Nishioka, another guy who I signed. I think he was also an international guy, and he hasn't looked as great as I thought he was going to. And then game 3, 5-1 against Milwaukee. We sweep them. Davis, 4 for 4 in this game. Caratini off to a great start. 3 home runs, 7 RBIs in that series. And Banda, 8 2/3, 1 run, 11 Ks. We're not to the point where we're going to see players of the week, but we are the top-rated team with Cleveland and Colorado in baseball. I'm going to check the waiver wire, too, before I get too far along, just to make sure there's not some, excuse me, some good values out there. Nah, so it's starting to thin out a little bit. So we're going to be playing on the road against Tampa. That's a pretty interesting start on the schedule, but we win 4-1. Segura 3 for 4. Davis 3 RBIs. Those guys had a good game. Inciarte 3 for 5. He's hitting well so far this year. And Sonny Gray, 5 innings, 5 2/3 innings, just 1 run for the win. That's good enough. And then Adams, solid in the save. Game 2 against Tampa Bay, we lose our first loss of the season, 5-8. Horner, batting leadoff here. He had a couple hits, drove in 3. Dickerson got some play at DH. He had 3 hits. Barrera, 2 for 5. Hazley, 2 for 5. But Honeywell wasn't terrible, 6 innings, 4 runs. But Vasquez, guy I signed in the offseason, good enough to be a closer, I was thinking, but not a great debut for him. 2/3 of an inning, 4 earned runs. Well, that was the second game he's pitched in this year. Game 3, we went 11-7, and looks like Adams had a 25-game save streak. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. He had been, after a really rocky start last year, he had been pretty dependable. This is his first blown save in 25, so that's good. But we win 11-7 in extra innings. Segura 2 for 5, drove in 4. Dickerson, another good game from him. Horner 4 for 5, and then Brennan Davis looks like he's off to a pretty decent start. He is going to be. I didn't think he was set to platoon, but let me make sure. Yeah, Barrera I've got every 4th game, and I may keep that. I wanted to keep it because I just like Barrera's bat against righties, and then Davis will be the outright starter against lefties. But pitching-wise, looks like we got shaken up a little bit, well as the bullpen. Syndergaard 6 2/3, just 1 earned run. But we hung on for the win. So now we're going up against St. Louis on the road. Check some news here. Isan Diaz is out for Miami. I've seen this guy play in real life in the minors. He played an awesome game that I saw. I mean, he looks like he's got really the tools to be a good player in the majors, and he's starting to develop in this league, and then all of a sudden 4 to 5 months he's going to be out, so that could hurt him. And then Eichhoff, not a big starter there, but he's going to be out for a while. Alex Reyes, he's out again, 6 weeks. He's been injured quite a bit for St. Louis, and that's who we're playing on the road. Game 1, 2-4. That's disappointing. Dickerson 2 for 4. He got the start in left field, and then Hernandez at catcher. Looks like he had a home run in this one, but Berrios, another pretty poor outing. 6 innings, 4 runs. Elliott looked good in relief though, and so now game 2 against St. Louis, another loss, 3-1. And after a good start, we're starting to slow down a little bit. Segura a couple hits, Rojas a couple hits. Bandit looked good in the loss, 7 1/3, just 3 runs. And so now game 3, can we avoid the sweep? We don't. 1-0 shutout. And bats were just very silent in this series. Rizzo had a couple hits. Clement got the start here. It was 4 for 4. I've talked this guy up before. I like him as a bench player. If you're playing this game and you get a guy with these kind of ratings across the board, speed, contact, eye, avoiding Ks, and good defense, I mean, you've got a really valuable player if he will agree to, and that's really the sweet spot, is 2-star to 2.5 star, because then, maybe you can get him to accept a platoon or a bench role in his team, and they're really valuable. And I tell you, Sonny Gray did not look bad again. 6 innings, just 1 earned run, 5 Ks. So that might be a good signing after all. So Jose Abreu retiring. Forrest Whitley strikes out 15. He's developing really good. Alcantara out for 4 months. And then I'm looking for players of the week. Looks like Jimenez in the American League, Albies in the National League, and then power rankings were down to all the way down to 14th, and that's St. Louis and Cincinnati are playing really hot. So we started out with that 4-game win streak. We've lost 4 of 5, so that's going to hurt us. We've lost 3 in a row now. So let's see if we can turn it around against Cincinnati. Game 1 at home, another 1-3 loss. Not good. So Rizzo may have had a home run in this one. A couple guys with a hit apiece. Inciarte is going to be out for a couple weeks. It's a moderate injury, so I am going to put him on the DL with that. That was the risk with him. I knew. Honeywell pitched good, but just couldn't get the win. So now I'm going to have to make some changes with the lineup here. And what's the DL? Let me see what. It's a 10-day. It's probably going to take him all of that to get ready. And so Burleson, unless there's just happens to be nobody on the waiver wire. So let's get him up here and see what he can do. Although he's not going to be starting. I think I'll go with Barrera starting off, leading off, and then I'll just have Burleson, even though he's not rated as a center. I don't want to put Dickerson in there yet. I'll just let him come in and bat for Barrera if he's tired, and then leave Dickerson where he's at, and then have Burleson as the number 1 pinch hitter, and Barrera's going to have to move down as a pinch hitter. So we got Walls, Clement. I guess Dickerson's probably faster. Yeah, no, he's already in there. So I guess I'll have to put Burleson in there. although I don't really want to. And then against lefties, you know, we could just go ahead and do this. Nah, I like Barrera against lefties as well, so I'm going to leave him as the starter and let Burleson come off the bench when he's needed. And, well, I'll let him play left if Hazley's tired. Now, Hazley against lefties, he's serviceable, but then Barrera's going to hit and run, or Burleson, sorry, is going to run there. And then when we get to the DH, this is where I'm going to probably let this guy go. Let him loose. I say that and then I realize I got Dickerson. I don't know what I'm doing. Apparently. Okay, so so we'll let Burleson, which this is all academic probably, because he's probably not going to get any play time much until Inciarte is ready to come back. But I am a control freak when it comes to these lineups if I'm the manager, so we'll keep it like it. We'll keep doing it. And then just have Burleson play every position and back up. And I'll say every fifth game in case it gets to that. And I think against righties, I wanted him to play. All right. So back to the games. We gotta break this losing streak. Game 2 against Cincinnati. Another one, 6-1. Man, our offense is stalling. Nobody's really performing all that great. We got some good average here on some players, but no runs. And Syndergaard had a terrible game. 7 1/3, 6 innings. Oh, man, not good. So let me see how we're rated against Philadelphia. And then we got Roederer, who's going to be, he's going to be probably a year or two away from playing in the majors, but I like some of his ratings. Going to move him down to AAA. And now Philadelphia, they're struggling too, but we're already below 500, so we've lost 6 of 7. We've got to turn it around here. Game 1 at home, finally we win, but just 3-2. So our offense not doing too good right now. Berrios, his first good start of the year. Adams, his 3rd save, but he hasn't had many opportunities lately. Game 2 against Philadelphia. It's a 4-game series, but we lose game 2, 3-6. Rojas, Davis, who's not Davis, he's struggling. Horner had a good game, 3 hits. Rizzo, not too bad, but Banda, you know, just 2 earned runs in 7 innings. That's good enough, I think, to win it. Game 3, good win, 8-1. We needed that. And then Inciarte is going to be out longer, I just saw. But Hazley, a good game. He struggled a little bit early. Rizzo, another good game. Horner, another good game. And then Gray, 7 innings of shutout pitching. So, man, he continues this. He's going to be in line for the Cy Young. And even Hendricks didn't look too bad in relief. I know he's probably... No, he's not upset, so that's good. His ratings are terrible, even as a reliever. But we're going to lose Inciarte for a little bit longer. I know... I knew this guy was going to be a gamble that way, but I'm still hoping I get some out of this guy. You know, some playtime. Half a season, you know, if I don't have anybody else to go with, would be okay. So game 4, can we win the series against Philadelphia? We lose it 2-1. Segura was good, 3 for 4. Caratini had a couple hits. And Syndergaard looked great. Vasquez, good outing from him, but he hasn't looked all that good so far. He's unhappy, but I don't see why he's unhappy. Probably because he's not the closer, but let's see. Players of the week, Paxton. No, he pitched a shutout. So we got Talkman for New York. Franchi Cordero for San Diego. Those aren't two guys I'm familiar with. And then we're moving down the list here in the power rankings. We're 7 and 8. Let me take a look at the standings, see what's going on here. So in the American League, Cleveland and Houston, 14 and 1. They're on an 11-game win streak. It's like Guerrero's having a good year. Wander Franco, this guy, 22 years old now. In this playthrough, he's had a great career in the Phillies playthrough that I'm in. Probably a borderline Hall of Fame career. And then Guerrero, he's 600 plus home runs, almost 3,000 hits, and the other one still playing. In the National League, we got Nationals, Marlins, and then Cincinnati and St. Louis are playing pretty strong so far. And individually, Suarez looking good now with St. Louis in this playthrough. I don't know if he signed with St. Louis in real life or not. I can't remember that one. Nope. This was an in-game, out-of-the-park 21 deal. All right, so Mookie Betts hitting over 400. That's, those two players alone will tell you where St. Louis is. Suarez and Betts. And then Harrison Bader's hitting good. I mean, if this dude's going to hit over 300, they're going to be tough. So let's get ready for our next series at home against Colorado. But Tyler Visa, man, this guy's a good-looking pitcher. But I want to also look at the team stats just to see what's happening here. It's offense. That's a surprise to me. It's like we've got this, if you've watched the playthrough, I've been working so hard to get this pitching staff in line, and we're looking good, or 8th, really. Top 3 in a lot of categories, first in a couple. But our offense is not doing too well. I'm hoping that's not going to continue. So let's home against Boston, or home Colorado, away against Boston. Game 1, 3-1. A good win, but no offense again. Davis, Hazley, a couple hits. Honeywell, another good outing. 8 innings, 1 run. Adams, 4 save. Yet to give up a run this year. Game 2 against Colorado, 10-1. Great game here, and really Clement off the bench was offensive star of the game. Barrios, 2 for 3, drove in 4, and a complete game for him. So he's all right. So that's pretty good pace. Let's hope he keeps that up. But man, look at Clement as a bench player. I mean, he's not going to hit 519, obviously, but that's incredible. All right, so game 3 against Colorado. Can we sweep them? And we don't. Lose 3-5. Barrera had a good game leading off. Davis may have hit a home run here. I'm not sure. But pitching, Banda, tough luck pitcher, man. 6 2/3 innings, 1 earned run, 7 Ks. He's 1-3 on the year. He could easily be 3-1 with the way he's pitched. And Vasquez, he's going to have to start showing me something. He's a lefty pitcher. I've got him. He's dominant against lefties. I know I've got him probably as a specialist, but he's mainly a setup and a closer. Let me move him to specialist secondary. See if that makes any difference. So now we're going against Boston. They're 9-10. We're 9-9, but we're on the road. Then it's Milwaukee, so tough stretch here. Game 1, we lose 4-2. A couple hits from Rizzo and Horner. Horner's really off to a great start. On pace for 200 plus hits, but pitching, Sonny Gray, 4 runs but 2 earned. And I guess what I'm starting to see here, are we having some defensive issues? Because I'm seeing a lot of, for several games here, where the pitchers are giving up like 4 runs but only 2 earned. Or something to that effect. So it looks like we're middle of the pack in defensive efficiency. Top 4, we're 4th in zone rating. So I don't know what's going on there. I'll have to keep an eye on that, though. Game 2 against Boston, 6-0, shutout, great game. Dickerson at DH was 2-4, scored a couple. Caratini drove in 3. This is what I'm talking about from him offensively. He's off to a great start. I mean, those are great numbers considering how much playtime he'll get at catcher. And then Clement, 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. He's still happy with being a bench player, but man, he is playing like a superstar. Syndergaard got his second win. He's looked really good. Hendricks has even looked good in the bullpen in limited action. All right, so game 3 against Boston, 9-5. We win the series. We're 11-10 now. Good offense from Dickerson, Davis, Horner, 3 hits. He continues to hit. And Honeywell was rocked and left the game early, but the bullpen, including Hendricks, shut out through 5, 6 2/3 innings. Good performance there. Players of the week, we got Valadares for Texas, Cody Bellinger for the National League. And I'm just going to mention this briefly. I keep saying about my Phillies playthrough. Maybe I should probably have that on here too at YouTube. But Bellinger is now up to 830 plus home runs in that playthrough. And it's crazy, the numbers that have been put up offensively in that one. And that's using the default that Out of the Park 21 shipped with. And not only Bellinger, but Mike Trout got past 800 home runs. So, and Mike Trout is playing in his 40s. He's like 43, 45 years old. I want to take a look at the waiver wire here just to make sure, again, I'm not losing out on anything. Although I don't think we need pitching. And offense, you know, we've started out slow, but I think we're starting to pick it up a little bit. Yeah, picking it up a little bit. All right, so now on the road against Milwaukee, win 11-4. I'd say the offense has picked it up quite a bit here. Barrera, 2 for 5, leading off. Still miss Inciarte. I think this guy is not... His ratings are okay, but he's just not ready to start yet. Dickerson looked good. Rojas, Burleson got the... he's getting some play time, and he's already losing some ratings. So I don't want to damage this guy. He's never played above AA. Individually, his ratings look like he's ready to go, but I think he still needs some seasoning before I trust him completely. Davis pinch hit home run, and Berrios got his 3rd win. Bullpen looked pretty good. Rasmussen, though, he hasn't gotten a whole lot of pitching this year. 29 on pace for just 29 games. That would be a surprise, really. So now we got game 2 against Milwaukee, 7-1. Disappointing loss there. Barrera had a couple hits. Hazley, who is struggling a little bit as well. But Banda, I guess he's just getting fed up with the offense. He's been given, he was hammered here. 3 innings, 6 runs. Not too good for him. But, man, how about Hendricks? Having a pretty decent year so far. Not getting a whole lot of pitching time, but that's... those are some good numbers. Now, game 3, can we win the series here? And we do big, 13-1. But Brennan Davis is going to be out for a week. Hazley is got a knee soreness, so he's minimal. I don't have anybody really I would feel like putting in for those guys right now. And they had great games here. Look at Davis, 4 for 5, drove in a couple. Horner was 4 for 5, scored 4. Rizzo, good game. Great offensive performance here. And then Sonny Gray, 7 2/3 innings, 1 run and 10 strikeouts. Is this guy... He cuts down on the walks a little bit. I know this is not going to... He's not going to continue with this. He has no home runs, but he might be one of the contenders, I think, for the Cy Young. And then here's Kris Bryant, suspended in Philadelphia. 3-star player now with, average defense at 3rd. And I'm still justifying this trade here. But $27.4 million. I don't think. I just don't think he's worth that. But maybe Philadelphia thinks so. So we win that series again when we're 2 games above 500 again. Now we got San Diego at home. Man, Dickerson's upset. He wants to be in the starting lineup. You know, I mean, he's got a point with the way Hazley's playing, but I just think, I mean, I go with the ratings to a big extent here. And I think Hazley is a little bit better defender, and you see what he's rated against righties, 60. I mean, he's above average in everything but power, and he's got good speed for the most part. So I appreciate how Dickerson's playing, but he's not showing much power, which is surprising. But I'm not ready to put him in the starting lineup. He's going to get some play time here with Davis out, I would think. And that's, you know, I could at least give him that much. Davis is out for 5 more days. So let me do that, because Hazley can easily play right, and he's injured. So Burleson, you'll be backing up there. And then against lefties, I'll leave it the way it is and let Burleson get some playtime in right field, just because, you know, if Hazley performs well and keeps a lock on the left field spot, Burleson, if he gets some position ratings at right, that might be a position I could put him in if he turns out to be the prospect that he's rated as. All right, so let's go to against San Diego. How are they rated? 9-16, having a pretty tough start to their year. Game 1, we lose 10-1. Inciarte ready to come off the DL, so he's going on a rehab assignment for probably the rest, maybe another week. Rojas is injured. Crap. All right, 10-1. See how this one went down. Clement 2 for 4. He might be the starting shortstop for a while. And Syndergaard not too bad here, but Adams completely blew up. 1/3 of an inning, 6 runs. Probably some no home runs in there, but I'm surprised by that, because he's good at home runs. I'm sorry, I was thinking he had movement issues, but he doesn't. All right, so game 2 against San Diego, we win 6-4. Rojas, moderate, but I think we can stomach that for just 3 days. 6-4 win over San Diego. 2 for 4 for Segura. Hazley had a good game. Caratini, another couple RBIs. I think he's probably leading in RBIs on the team. Honeywell got the win. Adams came back and got the save after that terrible outing. And then now we're game 3 against San Diego. Can we win the series? No, 8-1. So we're back to just a game above 500. Not a good start to the season. Segura and Dickerson got some decent offense going, but Barrios had a great game. But Ibarra, man, he is tanking too. Everything's going crazy. Elledge, the bullpen had been solid, and now they're starting to really look terrible. Looking at player development, Rizzo, I'm sure his age is starting to show. I got him for 4 more seasons with a team option, but we'll see how far he can hang on. Drew Rasmussen, his control moved up a little bit, I think, so that's good. Taylor Walls, he's just a bench guy, but he can start, you know, if injuries start happening. Burleson, though, man, he's starting to lose some points there. That's what I was afraid of on that. He may be somebody I need to trade pretty early. Chase Strump. All right. I'm not seeing too much negative in their scouting report, so that's good. Top performers for the month, Tampa Bay, Austin Meadows, batter of the month, I guess. And then National League went to Luke Voigt. That's a surprise. Top pitchers. Wait, am I doing this wrong? Yeah, I'm sorry. This is Players of the Week. Austin Meadows, and then Luke Voigt. And then for Players of the Month, we had best bat was Eloy Jimenez, off to a great start. Tyler Nevin with Colorado. Man, he's off to a really good start, but that's Colorado. Pitchers, Michael Plasmeyer for Tampa Bay in the American League. And then Dakota Hudson for St. Louis. Man, he's having a good start too. He's pitched pretty well through this playthrough so far. Might be having, depends on how it plays out, might be having one of his best years. And then for rookies, Trevor Larnach and Jake Woodford. So they've got a good rookie starter here too. They're going to be tough to beat, I'm guessing. We're at 12th, sorry, in the player rankings. Take a look at the waiver wire real quick. So let's finish out this series against New York. And then is Davis still hurt? Yeah, for a couple days. Inciarte, just 2 starts, so he's going to be down there for a few more games. But let's see how we do against New York. Game 1, 6-10, so we're at 500 again. Rizzo, Dickerson, Segura, some good offensive performances. Banda, not a bad outing, but the bullpen. I mean, that was, going in, I felt like that was my strong point with the pitching, even with the pickups that we made in the starting rotation. But all right, game 2, New York, 6-7. I have a feeling there's another bullpen blow up, but let's see. Hazley and Rizzo, a couple hits in this one. No, Sonny Gray. he finally had a bad outing. 2 1/3, gave up all 6 of the 7 runs. Rasmussen, another bad outing from him. Vasquez maybe starting to pitch a little bit better. I hope so. And so we're game below 500. Can we turn it around? Game 3 against New York, and another 1-run loss. So not looking good for this year. I gotta be honest. So far, a lot of things are not happening the way they should be. Obviously, Syndergaard, not a bad game, but he's been a bad luck pitcher too. Just on pace for 10 wins. But I tell you, the bullpen's starting to scare me. If the bullpen goes, this team doesn't have a chance. So we're going to be again. One more series. I know we're getting long, but one more series on the road against Miami, and let's just see if we can end this on a good spot. Now I'm going to have to adjust the lineup because Davis is back healthy, and I want him in right. And I tell you, I'll put Corey Dickerson. The way he's playing, I mean, it's not going to continue. But I'll have him come in every 4th game, and then all right. So that should be okay. Brennan Davis, he's 5th, and then nothing really changes. No, nothing changes against lefties, or does it? Well, for this series, it doesn't, because we're going to have Inciarte back, and I'm going to have to adjust these guys again. But let's see what we can do against Miami. 3 games on the road. Game 1, and this is just the draft order. Don't need to see that right now. 2-3. Man, we're really struggling here. Honeywell, not a bad outing, but no offense. And another one. I think we're not going to have the team I was hoping we would have this year. We're down to 14-18. Another poor offensive performance, and Berrios, overall he's been okay, but 5 1/3, 6 runs here. So, he's not a dominant starter. I knew that. It looks like Guerrero's injured, but not bad. So game 3, can we salvage something? And we do, a 4-0 shutout. Barrera and Rojas look good offensively. Banda, thankfully, he got a win here. 6 2/3, no runs for him. Rasmussen and Adams shut out 2 1/3 innings in the relief. So, players of the week. Guerrero, Scott Kingery. Wow, he's not looking too bad for Philadelphia. He tanked in my other playthrough. But we're all the way down now to 22nd in power rankings. We're 3 games below 500. I mean, I'm not throwing in the towel yet, but we have not looked good at all, really. We're not consistent. 5.5 games back. St. Louis really looking strong so far. I think what it's going to come down to is, does that bullpen, they've been glitchy. Let's say it that way. They're not going to stay, I don't think, with this kind of performance through the rest of the year. So if the starters stay where they've been and the bullpen gets back in line, okay, pitching might be okay, but offense, is that where the problem's going to be? I mean, we have no power to speak of, no extra base hits. We're last in home runs, 14th in extra base hits, 12th in slugging percentage. And so if you want to say, hey, well, that's what you get for trading Happ, now's the time, although he wasn't giving me much slugging when he was on the team. So I'll take a quick look at how we're doing performance-wise, and then I'll end the episode. But, yeah, I mean, 4 home runs is the league, or 5 home runs is the team leader in home runs. So that would be Caratini, who's come off his pace quite a bit. I mean, offensively, Horner is still playing well. He's probably been my most consistent offensive player short of Dickerson and Clement off the bench. I mean, Clement's been phenomenal as a bench player, even on pace for 20 stolen bases. That's really good. Segura's pretty good. I just think we're not getting the power and the extra base hits. I think that's really hurting us, but I think we'll pick that up. Burleson's going to go back to the minors, and I'm going to call up Inciarte, who has looked bad in Iowa, but he's gotten 8 games in, so I think he's ready to go. I'll do that right now, but then I'll adjust the lineups offline. I'm just curious. I mean, what kind of stuff would I see if I tried to trade this guy? I mean, I would think the number 5 prospect would draw some interest, but we'll see. Well, he's 6 now. I think he was 5th when I traded for him. I mean, it's taken a while, so yeah. I just don't know what position. If I do get a power hitter, I mean, what position would I play him? And it looks like mostly prospects, which is okay. I mean, I had it set though for regulars and veterans. I'm not seeing anybody who would really give me what I need, which is power right now. I tell you, the AI is not really thinking too much of this guy either. So was it a gamble? Yeah, maybe. I mean, Josh Bell at first, he's off to a bad start, but he's not really an upgrade over, gosh, Mookie Betts. Whew. Now, see, that's what I'm talking about. Because 28.2, oh, that's a big contract for 6 seasons. I know he did it in the Phillies playthrough. He played a long time. I traded for him in the Phillies playthrough, and he was my best player for a lot of years and was solid throughout his career. I mean, budget-wise, nah, that would drop us down, but that's something to think about. That's really something to think about because, that Mookie Betts could at least give us, 3 solid years, man. He could make a big difference on this team right off the bat. And then I could trade Davis away. He's just 23, and I know this maybe sounds stupid. Yeah, I'm getting a little carried away. But anyway, that's something to put in my back pocket if we keep tanking. I'll take a look at the pitching, and then I'm done for this episode. So pitching stats. Banda looks like he's got an injury. Hopefully it's minimal for a week. I don't want to lose this guy, but we'll see how he does. So I'm really okay with the starting pitching. I mean, Gray has been a big surprise. Even Honeywell has pitched okay at times. He's about where he was last season. It's just like Elledge. I mean, look at the season he had last year. He was, I think, second or third in voting for the reliever of the year. So I think he'll come back to that level. I think Ibarra is going to come back to the level he's played the last couple years. So we just got some outliers. Even Rasmussen, his movement's not that great. His control's not that great, but he's dominant enough that he usually pitches, fairly well. So how much money is he making? Not much. I mean, none of these guys are making a lot of money outside of, the Noshioka and Ibarra that I got free in the foreign free agent market, and then Vasquez and Adams. Adams was making virtually nothing. We'll see if that bullpen doesn't turn it around. I may have to start moving some prospects and getting some better pitching instead of power. But I think power is what I'm hoping we improve on going forward. But episode's getting a little bit long. Sorry about that, but not a great start. But I'll turn it around. I think I may have to make a few moves, but we'll come back probably after the draft and a month or so away, and we'll hopefully be in a little bit better shape. But as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate the support, and I will see you next episode.